Democratic senators now say they will investigate the Supreme Court. Over the weekend, Politico and the New York Times dropped shockingly related stories, almost simultaneously, about the impact of religious groups on conservative judges. From Politico, Operation Higher Court, inside the religious rights effort, to wine and dine Supreme Court justices. A former evangelical leader details his group's extensive program to influence Justice Thomas, Alito, and Scalia through meals and entertainments. Former anti-abortion leader alleges another Supreme Court breach. In a letter to Chief Justice John G. Roberts Jr., this is from the New York Times, and in interviews with the New York Times, the Reverend Rob Schenek said he was told the outcome of the 2014 case weeks before it was announced. He used that information to prepare a public relations push, records show, and he said at the last minute he tipped off the president of Hobby Lobby, the craft store chain owned by Christian evangelicals, that was the winning party in the case. Remember, leaking from the Supreme Court is something that is sort of considered abhorrent within the Supreme Court. They all take a vow of secrecy. This is a big deal. At the center is Reverend Bob Schenek, former anti-abortion crusader who had an ugly split with the right over gun rights and other issues. Now head of the Judiciary Committee, Dick Durbin, is, quote, quite interested in the Supreme Court leak story. Not so much the recent leak about overturning Roe, but accusations that Justice Samuel Alito leaked the 2014 Hobby Lobby case. Mike Davis is here, former general counsel for the Judiciary Chairman. On the Republican side, Chuck Grassley, founder of the Article 3 Project. Mike, good to see you now. Is this possible for the Judiciary Committee to investigate the Supreme Court?
It raises a serious constitutional issue, separation of powers. I served as the chief counsel for nominations on the Senate Judiciary Committee for then Chairman Chuck Grassley. We had, as part of my portfolio, we looked at the federal judiciary. This is unprecedented, what Senate Democrats are trying to do here. They're trying to investigate a supposed leak 8 years ago from the Supreme Court when the Politico story reporting this admits on the face of the story that this is an unsubstantiated allegation, and Justice Alito put out a statement completely denying this allegation. This guy, this reverend...
But just like if we play sort of the game of Clue, if you will, it all sort of comes back in a weird way to Justice Alito here, and by no means am I accusing him of anything because we have no independent reporting on this, but he is the author of the decision overturning Roe that was leaked to Politico. Now, all of a sudden, you have this reverend talking about how Alito leaked something to him. It happened, we're now hearing this 8 months after the leak on Roe that nobody ever even seems to care about finding the answers to. I just can't figure it out.
Yeah, they're trying to pin the Dobbs leak on Justice Alito, and that's just laughable. I don't know why he would leak that draft decision and then have to, knowing that the blowback would be threats to the Supreme Court justices. Justice Alito and his wife had to move to a safe house after that leak. So did many other justices. Justice Kavanaugh's wife, Ashley, and their 2 teenage daughters faced a 1 a.m. assassination attempt in their home. It's just, this is Politico, I think, trying to pin the Dobbs leak on Justice Alito, and it's laughable. It's very obvious as a former Supreme Court.
Is it possible, though, to investigate this 2014 leak, which this, as far as I understand, the first time we're ever hearing of this? I'd never heard that this even allegedly happened, and we aren't even sure it ever did happen. In fact, some people who were at this dinner denied it, that there was a leak. But can you investigate the 2014 leak and not investigate the 2022 leak?
Well, I don't think that the Justice Department should be sticking their nose in any of this. This should be handled by the Supreme Court. That what the Justice Department should be doing is enforcing the federal statute.
Right, but Mike, do respect, and I understand that you come from a conservative organization, fine. But Justice Roberts, the Chief Justice, and he's not shown this incredible focus on finding the leaker or enforcing some kind of code of ethics or coming out and assuring the public on the first day of the new session, hey, look, we have put the thumb screws to our clerks and we can assure you that a leak like this isn't going to happen again. We've heard nothing about that.
I understand, and the Chief Justice needs to decide how he wants to release how he's going to publicly release what he's done in this investigation. But what that does not mean is that the political branches can stick their nose in the Supreme Court.
Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.